In the House, it is Congressman Michael Guest, District 1. And I don't know if you were listening to Sid this morning, but he said just about every congressional incumbent seems to be in the safe seat for the most part. Might be a little itchy here and there, but how do you view that? Never take anything for granted?
You know, the old adage, run scared, run unopposed, Paul. And so we're going to run through the finish line. We're working extremely hard these next 2 weeks. It was a blessing in the fact that the schedule allowed me to be home. The House is not in session this week or next week. So we're going to be traveling throughout the district. We were in Covington County, Simpson County yesterday. Today we're going to be in Clark County, Lauderdale County, Neshoba County. We're going to be in Lincoln County later this week, Marion County, going to do several things here around the metro area, and so we're running hard, and we're just running to again get out and first to educate people that there is an election on June the 7th. So many people unaware of that. Encouraging people to go vote if you're going to be out of town on vacation. If you're over 65, you can vote early. You can go to your circuit clerk's office. They're accepting early voting for those categories Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then even Saturdays 8 to noon this Saturday and next Saturday. So just encouraging people to get out to exercise their right to vote. We know that our military men and women have fought, and in some cases there's been individuals who have died for us to be able to elect our leaders, and we need to honor that sacrifice, particularly as here we're coming up on the Memorial Day weekend. We need to honor that sacrifice by doing those small things such as casting our vote each and every election.
You know, regardless if you're in the House or Senate, it's just demoralizing, and I've mentioned this more than once. I don't know if I could do it 4 years out of power where I don't have a possibility of chairmanships, where we're not in charge of the gavel to set these investigations. It's just got to be mind-blowing. You do what you can do, but especially for you, because, I mean, you've gone from the Trump era where you did have those to this feeble excuse for leadership. And how do you do that?
Well, you know, unfortunately, when I was elected to the House, that was the year that the House flipped over from Republican control to Democratic.
That's right. I'm sorry.
I have not yet had the opportunity to serve in the majority. I hear it is much more enjoyable than serving in the majority. But you're exactly right, particularly as it relates to the House, because in the Senate there are certain protections for the minority. We don't have those protections in the House. Everything is driven by the majority. In this case, has been driven by Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who we all hope and pray will very quickly have that gavel removed and that we'll have a Republican there. But Republicans are preparing to retake the majority. Things are looking very good for a Republican takeover, and hopefully a Republican takeover with substantial numbers. You look at things like the number of Democrats that are retiring this year, 30 plus in the House, which have announced that they're retiring. Historically, the party in power, in this case the Democrats, lose 25 seats in a midterm election. You look at some of the polling data, and regardless of what polling that is, it could be the president's poor approval ratings. Quinnipiac had them at 33% last month. Even if that's an outlier, I've not seen any polling that puts the president even at 40 or above. You look at right track, wrong track, voter enthusiasm, generic ballot polling. All of that polling favors Republicans, and so we've got to continue to push forward.
I don't see how in the world you can get fill up with gas, get over a gallon of gas, and where do these 33% of the people who think he's doing a good job even exist outside the federal government or within the administration itself? I do want to ask you this. Are you finding more and more pushback, because we get it on C Spire text line and my Twitter account at Paul Gallo Show, of people not really happy about that $40 billion expenditure on financing Ukraine. And I feel like that's beginning to turn a little bit because we have no faith that, number one, the money's going to get there, but you voted on that, did you not?
I did. Myself, Stephen Palazzo, Trent Kelly, Roger Wicker, and Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, the entire Republican delegation from Mississippi supported that. And we supported that because we believe it's important that we continue to support the Ukrainians as they fight for their freedom. You know, what we're able to do is we're able to send military aid, financial aid, humanitarian aid, intelligence, and we are giving them a fighting chance to save their nation. The last thing we want is an emboldened Russia and emboldened Putin, who is threatening the European continent. And so by us being able to send that aid to them, but not put the lives of American servicemen and women in jeopardy, I thought was the right thing. I think we need to continue to make sure that that money is being spent appropriately. I think that we have properly supported the Ukraine military and their government throughout this. But this was a vote that many Republicans, again, every Republican elected official in the state voted for this military aid because we believe it is important that we stop Russia in their tracks. The last thing we want is to see Russia emboldened and Russia threatening other countries on the European continent.
Yeah, and there were a lot of other stuff in there that was totally not even had anything to do with Ukraine, and I'm not going to take time now to go through all of those, but there was a story this morning, plans to send U.S. forces back into Ukraine to guard the recently reopened American embassy in Kyiv are underway at a relatively low level, said General Mark Milley, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said yesterday. Your thoughts on that?
You know, if we're going to have an embassy that is open, I think it's important that we protect that embassy. All of the embassies around the globe are guarded by American forces. And so if the decision is made by the State Department that our embassy is going to be open, I think it is imperative that we have a small number of forces there, not engaging Russian forces, not engaged in the conflict, but protecting our diplomats and protecting, I mean, that's American property in another country. And so I would support a very limited number of individuals there for the sole purpose of protecting the ambassador, protecting his staff. And then if we see that the conflict is continuing to escalate and if there is any threat that our embassy may fall, I mean, we can very quickly withdraw those individuals without them having to engage in any sort of combat role against the Russian aggression.
Yeah. Michael Guest, Congressman, we're a little worried about what Biden said yesterday, that if Taiwan is threatened, we're going to come and take care of you?
I think we should all be concerned. When the president makes a statement that we intend to go to war, I mean, the president doesn't have the ability to declare war. Our American policy has always been that we will support Taiwan. We will support them with military aid. We will support them financially. But there has never been, since I've been in Congress, a policy that we would send troops to Taiwan if there was, in fact, an invasion of China. And I think that is a decision that should be made by the United States Congress. That should not be something that the president is unilaterally setting out. And I believe, Paul, that's something that you're going to see this administration walk back. Time and time again, the president has made some outlandish claims. The White House has had to walk back those statements. And I think over the next several days, next several weeks, you're going to see the White House have to walk back once again a statement by a president.
Oh, they've already done that. They've done that in the last 24 hours.
Well, and that walk back will continue. I can promise you that statement was a big statement, that the president made that, probably not even knowing what the question was, actually. But we're going to see that statement will be walked back by the administration. It'll be walked back by members of Congress because that is not the policy of the United States, and the president will not be allowed to have that stand without him being questioned and called out on it.
If you saw the video, you're more right than you know, because he was in a daze, and it was almost like, did I say the right thing? But his policies are killing us economically. There was another story out there that is a little bit of a concern. Headlines were Toyota cutting global production due to the semiconductor shortage. Now, in the old days, we didn't have to worry about that, but now we worry about things like that with the Toyota plant here.
And you're exactly right. And we have a worldwide chip shortage, and that's something that Congress is trying to address, is to bring that production back home, back to the United States. Yeah. Over the years, we outsourced so much of our production to China, to other countries in the Far East, that we no longer produce the things that we need here.
30 seconds left. Your final thoughts.
Look, just to encourage everyone to please go vote. This is an important election. The Republicans need to have a good showing through this election cycle so that we can go from a defense on the offense and we can change the direction of this country.
You got it. Michael Guest, Congressman District 1. What's District 3? Why is District 3? I've got that backwards 3 times this morning. That is my mulligan of the day. Mike Michael Guest. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you got it right. Thank you.
Got to get this medication right, man. Thank you, partner. Appreciate it very much.
Sir.